Hello everyone, Josh first back in, bringing you guys some more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. Now we're going to be making a global guide for beginner mistakes to avoid, mostly for free-to-play players. Obviously, if you're a whale or a casual spender, these are mistakes that you probably don't want to make either, just because it's a waste. But for free-to-plays, this is something that you definitely want to pay attention to. So there's a plethora of different mistakes that you could potentially make throughout your journey in Grand Cross, because there's so many different things that you have to learn and understand and find better techniques and ways to utilize and make more efficient. However, there are a few select different mistakes that are easy to make that can cost you really bad in the long run, and you don't want to make those mistakes. We're going to be going over a few of them. The first one we're going to be talking about is gear reroll for substats. So if we go down here to gear, we're going to go ahead and jump into our Estarossa. We'll use him as an example because I have a piece of gear set up ready to go rather. So we're going to go ahead and look at one of his SSR gear pieces. Now SSR gear is not easy to come by via the actual equipment gacha, which we're going to talk about that as something to consider avoiding as well. But you're going to get a lot of SSR gear from just farming story. Like, literally, they're going to throw so many different types of SSR gear at you that you're going to have a nice core team established with gear, no problem. And then it's just going to be up to you to farm up the resources to build those gear up. But the initial gear, you're going to get those no problem. So that's something that you don't need to really worry about too much early game. A lot of people like to run the 4 attack, 2 defense, but we're going to go over all that stuff in more detail in our equipment guide, so that'll be coming here within the next few days, don't worry. But the point of today's video is mistakes to avoid. So when you finally do get yourself in a situation with an SSR gear, for example, to where you can further awaken the gear, or limit break it if you will, to allow you to enhance the gear, you will then start having access to substats. And you'll notice here I already have a substat available. It's pretty bad. It's like not even halfway up the bar. And what the bar is representing is a min and max. So the further it is to the left, it's more on the minimum side of the substat you got. And then if it's further to the right, then it's more of the maximum that it can achieve. And then you also have a select grouping of random stats that you can even get depending on the type of gear. And we will go over all that again in the equipment guide, so don't worry. But when you are ready to finally limit break or awaken, you go ahead, you pay the bill, you get it upgraded, and then you will then, of course, get a substat. Now, on the JP and Korean side, they have hammers and anvils that you can use to actually try and re-roll those substats, which is phenomenal. You know, you want to farm those up as much as you can during select events, and then you'll have the potential to keep re-rolling for certain, you know, higher tier gear to get that perfect gear that you want for your characters. However, when global drops, we're not sure if we're going to get those hammers and anvils yet, because those came a little bit later on in the JP and Korean side. Maybe they will be here day one, I don't know, but regardless, you'll also notice that they want you to try and use gems to reroll. It's going to cost about 2 gems to reroll. You do not want to use gems ever, and I mean ever. If you're a super mega whale, by all means, do what you're going to do. It doesn't matter. These videos probably aren't even for you. But if you're a casual spender and you are free to play, do not ever click that 2-cost gem for re-rolling substats on any of your gear. I don't care what your excuse is. There is no excuse that will convince me that you should use gems. Just do not do it, because you could sit there and burn through 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe even 100 plus gems and still end up with a re-roll that was worse than the one you started with. So I just recommend heavily, do not make that mistake. I know a lot of players will still make that mistake. If you haven't seen this video or seen other videos similar, just don't do it, guys. Get the word out. Do not do it. So that's one big mistake that I would, hope that a lot of you players out there avoid making. Don't do it. All right. So now that we've talked about that, now let's talk about, let's stick with gear for a minute. Let's go to the gear gacha now. Let's go to the gear gacha. So if you get down here to the event shop, you'll see all these different shops, areas, and you'll see that Meliodas, Dark Meliodas, Demon Meliodas rather, is an actual equipment gacha. Now, you get one of these for free per day. This gives you gear, advanced enhancement materials. It gives you the hammers and anvils, which, like I said, may not be there day one on global. It might be. I don't know. It depends what they want to do with the global side. So that might be a little bit different. But yeah, so it's basically gear and gear resources for, you know, enhancing the gear and re-rolling substats. So you get one free roll a day, which is awesome. A lot of players are probably going to try and go in there and spend 20k gold or for one single summon or 200 for a multi, and are going to just keep going over and over and over again. And I'm telling you, the amount of different drops that you're going to get is not going to be warranted for all the gold you're going to be dropping, especially early game, because early game, you're still going to be trying to build up a lot of gold, and you're going to be blowing through a lot of gold trying to build up just one character, let alone a full team for all the different kind of content you're going to be doing, like ungeared and geared PvP for mid to late game. Then you also have to deal with all the different characters you're going to have to build up to get through all of story, which is going to be where you're going to get a majority of your early game resources from. Then you're going to have boss raids and boss battles and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of gold that you're going to get that you're going to use as soon as you get it. So you're not going to really be building up a ton of gold early game yet until you start getting your core team established, and then you can kind of start slowing down on the gold spending. So the last thing you want to do is go in here and play against Lady Luck in a gacha for gear and gear resource materials and end up getting a lot of just low tier gear that you could farm up for free, but you just wasted anywhere from 20 to 200,000 gold, depending on if you're doing a single or multi, and then you do that repeatedly. Now all your gold is gone. So I highly recommend do not do that either. At the very least, don't do it anytime soon, probably within the first month or so. But I would highly recommend just not doing it at all, because you can farm up a lot of this good gear and resources from story and events that come and go throughout. Just don't do it, because look at these drop rates. 0.07% for SSR and better tier materials. And then it's a 30% chance to pull SR and lower, which these materials are super easy to farm up in story and events. And then you have a 66% chance to get rare materials and lower, which is just utter trash. All of this is just trash. So there's no point doing that. And even if you do, let's go back to that one more second. Even if you do get the 4% chance to get SSR based materials, which are nice, like I said, it's a 0.67% chance to get those two resources, and then to get certain other gear, it goes down to 0.07. So it's just too low. It's not worth the gold. You're going to be blowing millions and millions of gold for nothing. Don't do it. So that's 2 mistakes already that just involve gear alone that you do not want to make. Another thing you don't want to do, let's say you're out of stamina right here. You can use stamina potions, but say you're out of stamina potions, it's going to pop up and ask you, would you like to use a gem to refill stamina? Don't do it. This game has a built-in system that allows you to buy so much stamina by just summoning on characters that you want to pull for anyway, because of the event coin shop. And I'll show you where that's at as well. So if we go back down here to the shop, and we go in here to where our boy King is, and then you go over here to the silver coins. These are your rare coins. Every time you pull a dupe in this game of either a rare, an SR, or an SSR, you will of course get their dupe coins, and they'll be separated by those 3 rarities: rainbow or platinum, whatever you want to call it, gold, and then of course silver. And like I said, the silver ones are rare dupes. So if you pull a bunch of rares, which you will, you can start then converting all their dupes instead of investing them into their ultimate skill ups, which we'll talk about that in the beginner guide video. You can actually come in here, and then you can buy these, which are very nice. And you can see here, I can buy 2 of these, 2 stamina potions, for 2 dupes of rares. And you're gonna pull so many rares in this game that you're gonna just constantly keep being able to buy these stamina potions to give you full refills. And that's all you got to do for stamina, guys. And if that's not enough for you, if you actually go to your dailies, if we go to our dailies right here, we also get a stamina potion from just cooking with Bond, which takes like 10 seconds to do. Very simple. You also get your 2 gems a day, and then other various rewards for your dailies. So you're going to get plenty of stamina, guys. Plus, you're going to stretch out that stamina quite a bit as well, because the stamina that you get in comparison to actually rank up is actually pretty good. Like right now, I'm ranked 43. I've only been playing for like less than a month, like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm already getting, you know, max 62 stamina. Now, that's not the only way you're going to get stamina either. Another way to get stamina too, while we're on that subject, is if you go back here to missions, you're going to be doing a lot of lifetime achievements. And if you go to these achievements, you're going to be getting, right here. Well, I guess they're not showing up. Right here. You're going to be getting a lot of these AP refills from doing a whole bunch of different missions. So you're going to be filling up constantly early game too. And that's pretty much it. You're actually going to be at the point for a good part of the game where you're going to be farming for a few hours overnight using stamina. And then the next day, you're going to go play for a little bit more hands-on, play some PvP, and then you're going to be burning stamina again that night, and then you're going to do so over and over again, building up resources. So, stamina, yes, you could technically get rid of all your stamina if you really farmed like hardcore, but the game's stamina is actually pretty damn good. The system that they built in there with the whole rares that can, you know, be converted to stamina potions is perfect. So that's 3 mistakes that players might make already. You know, 2 with the gear, 1 with perhaps, you know, buying, you know, stamina with gems. Don't do any of that stuff, guys. Don't use gems for gear substat rerolls. Don't go into the gear gacha outside of the free one that you get every single day. Don't do it. Now, another beginner mistake that a lot of players will make is actually involving the character banners. This is going to be kind of one of those ones that it's going to be kind of a hit or miss for a lot of players. But there's going to be a lot of banners in the game, and you're not going to want, of course, summon on every banner. Don't summon for your favorite character, unless that favorite character happens to be very, very good. Now, I'm going to try to do my best to help you with this one long term by doing my summon or skip videos and doing character reviews every time a new banner drops. But there's a lot of different character banners that have dropped on JP in Korean servers, for example, that a lot of players could just skip because of how good the characters they give you at the start of the game are. You don't necessarily need to go crazy for every banner, which is very, very good. Matter of fact, the starting characters that they give you and during your reroll process, which we'll have a video for that as well, you should be set. You should be able to get through most of story, if not all of story, that we have available in global, which would probably be either maybe the first 5 chapters, 6 chapters, if they want to give us guilds. I don't know. I don't know how many they're gonna release at day 1, but you don't need to go in every banner. So if you're free to play and casual spender, just because you're like, oh cool, there's a new Meliodas, I gotta go summon for him because he's my favorite character, don't do that, because you're gonna end up hurting yourself unless that character is good and you do your due diligence and you research that character and you really sit down and you look, okay, does that character something that I really need on my team to progress through certain things? Then of course you'd want to try and go for that character. Otherwise, don't do it, because now you're just going to be blowing all your gems for nothing. So, and you will be getting a lot of gems back from PvP, and thankfully PvP is separated in geared and ungeared, so it kind of makes it a little bit more fair for the free-to-plays, since gear is basically more of a dick-waving contest for whales. Theoretically, it's pretty much what it is. But, so that's another mistake a lot of players might make. They're going to be trying to go in on every character because it's their favorite. Don't do that, guys. You'll never get through a gacha game free to play, progressive-wise and efficiently by just going after every character because it's your favorite. Just, do your diligence, okay? Your due diligence, and actually look into these characters before you go crazy and summon on them, all right? Look at their skill sets, look at their synergy, will they work? Stuff like that. Will they help you progress if you're stuck somewhere? Things like that. You just definitely want to take a little bit of time and research before you go ham. And that's where hopefully myself and a lot of other YouTubers will come in handy for that. When new banners drop, we'll try to give you guys all our own perspectives on, hey, this is a good unit or this is a bad unit. So those are some, again, other issues that some players might fall into a trap on, and you don't want to do that. So I mean, that's more or less like the big ones that I feel like a lot of players are going to make a mistake on. Another mistake that I would say to not make is, let's go back to our characters. So I'm slowly trying to build up all my free-to-play characters. that they pretty much give you, or are easy to summon on, or ones that give you from story that are really solid. And I did a video talking about some of the best SRs in the game, so we're not going to cover those again. But there's certain characters, for example, that you don't want to invest into at all, especially early game to mid game, because it's just a waste of your resources. Okay, so for example, this let's see, what's a good one I can just throw at you guys right now? I'm trying to think which one I should throw it to. Right here. Okay, so this red Elizabeth and Hawk is amazing for boss fights. Super strong, free to play, easy to obtain. SR, easy to completely max out on the ultimate, because SRs are easier to get dupes for than SSRs. This would be a unit that if you're playing early game, you'd want to invest into. You're not wasting your resources. She's going to help you progress to getting to end and to mid to end game levels, so you can build up and get better resources and speed up your progression. Okay, so that's an example of one that you would want to invest into. This would be an example of a unit that I probably wouldn't really level up at all. I started to level him up, and then I looked up if he was even good or not, and I was like, okay, he's not very good at all. He's not terrible, but he's mediocre. He's average. And in comparison to some of my other units that I have to build up, he was completely just bottom tier to me. He was completely not a priority, so I just completely stopped doing anything with him at that point. So that's what I'm getting at here. Don't make the mistake of just thinking, oh my goodness, I need to level up every character in my box. Don't think like that. There are a lot of gacha games where they want you to level up every character in your box and use all of them for certain different things. You don't have to do that in this game, because a lot of characters in this game can fit a lot of roles. They wear a lot of hats, if you will. They're a jack of a lot of trades, and you can kind of mix and match them in a lot of different team comps and a lot of different types of content. For example, the red Gotha that you can get from the coin shop, one of the better units in the game. The blue King, for example, you get for free from story. Those are just some units that you can use pretty much everywhere, and they're very solid. You know, we also get the green counter Meliodas that a lot of you should be re-rolling for on global in the tutorial banner. He's phenomenal. That's a unit that you probably want to invest a lot into, like right out of the gate. Those are just some units that you're going to be using a lot, and those are the units that you want to go ahead and invest your early game resources into. Because what will happen is if you waste a lot of your early game resources, especially with the limit breaking and awakening materials and all that stuff that are harder to come by at first, you don't want to waste those on characters that have really no value over others that you can use for more things. Because the idea of it is when you first start the game, you want to build a core team, like 4 to 5 units, that can get you by in PvP, to get you up to a point to where you can start getting at least a multi per week. Get you up to at least gold or a little bit higher perhaps. And then you want a team that can get you through at least the mid-game boss raids, and of course get you through story. So, and that's pretty much what you want to do. And another thing, this game is actually encouraging you to jump into PvP as quick as possible, because that'll be your main currency for your gems weekly. So unlike some other gacha games, players will be like, I'll just worry about PvP later on. Don't do that. No, in this game, get your ass prepared for PvP as soon as possible. Burn through story, build up resources, work on gear. Don't work on gear later. Don't sit there and think, I'll just build my gear up later. Don't do that, because now what you're doing is you're just, blowing weeks away of possibly getting 30 plus gems a week. You're just pissing that down the drain. Don't wait. Act now. Get prepared. Get ready. And if it's anything like the Korean and Japanese server, the first few ranks of PvP are going to be against a lot of bots that are really stupid. So you can really just kind of, cheese your way up to hopefully gold or higher pretty quickly in the game. So that's going to be awesome. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully I went over some of the more key issues that some of you may run into early game and some mistakes to avoid. There's countless others that I could go into, but those are some of the more expensive ones, because a lot of them require, you wasting resources big time or investing gems that you shouldn't be. So hopefully I helped a lot of you out, and if it did, don't forget to go ahead and hit that like button. Let's try to get 50 on today's video. Don't forget to subscribe here for more content on the channel, and tick notifications so you don't miss a thing. And I will have some more guides, stuff like that, over the next few days, because the game will be coming out in less than 2 days from now. Pretty hyped. Hope you guys are excited for global release of 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, and let me know if this was helpful and whatever, anything else you want to talk about in the comment section below. And until next time, have an awesome day. As always, peace.